summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night. Oh, and we all got dreams.
What is good, man? Our nation, guys, we got a sneaky banger of an NFL football game this week. We got the Houston Texans rolling into Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and Mother Nature is suiting up as well. Mother Nature is ready to ball out, baby. But, we're talking about sub 30 degrees in Kansas City on Sunday. First time all season long, the Houston Texans have played in real cold. CJ Stroud, DeMeco Ryans, the Dome team, warm weather team, welcome to Arrowhead in December, baby! Guys, hit that like button, drop a Texans or a Chiefs in the chat right now so I know you're riding with us today. Before we break things down today, who do you guys got? The Texans or the Chiefs? Because right now, guys, here's what we're hearing on the Texans side of things. When you look at the Houston Texans, this is what we're hearing. Forecast says it's supposed to get down into the 20s, sub 30 degrees. It's supposed to be cold, not just a little bit chilly. It's supposed to be put your hands hurt. It is the type of cold that cuts your soul. It is a type of cold that you cannot catch the football type of weather. This is the first time all year long Houston has played in legit cold. All season they've been in a controlled environments or mild temperatures, and now they walk into Arrowhead Stadium, one of the loudest and coldest places to play in December. DeMeco Ryans has asked about it, and his answer was intriguing. He said their strategy for playing in the cold basically is don't focus on it. It's a mindset. What? Chat. Man Hour Nation, let me ask you this. Can you really ignore something to 20-something degrees and a wind at Arrowhead Stadium? Or is that just simply coach speak at the end of the day? Because here's one thing. Under DeMeco Ryans, the Houston Texans head coach, the Texans are 0-2 at Arrowhead Stadium. Both times they played, the weather was sub 40 degrees. So every time they go into Arrowhead Stadium, every time they walk into Kansas City, Missouri, or Independence, Missouri, I should say, it's been cold. And every time they walked out with that big, giant L. Is that a coincidence? Or is this a team just not built for that kind of cold yet? Or that kind of game yet? Is this a team that's just kind of like, oh, we good, but we not that good? Now, don't get me wrong. CJ Stroud is a baller. We all know that. But the cold affects the grip of the ball, the receivers coming across across the middle, the tackling, because nobody wants to wrap up and hit in that weather. Let's just be honest. And play calling. You might see Houston get a little bit more conservative than usual. Texans fans, Man Hour Nation, picks and pundits, 1 through 10. How worried should the Houston Texans be about this cold? Drop a number in the chat. And let's get to the chat. And let's get to the chat and talk about my man, Pigskin Pundit Onlys.
Pigskin Pun. Get you some.
Jim Powell. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy is the CEO of the Pigskin Pundit. It's the first ever Pigskin Pundit that we've ever had. And he says, a game that matters as much as a splinter in a non-jacket hand. It has no effect. Jim, this game is everything. This game is playoffs for everybody. It's playoff for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's playoff for the Houston Texans, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Indianapolis Colts, the Los Angeles Chargers. This game affects everybody, just not the Chiefs, just not the Texans. It affects the Chargers, affects the Colts, the Jaguars, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Buffalo Bills. All teams vying for playoff spots. Like this is a huge, huge game. But even what's more huge is the Kansas City Chiefs pass rush. Guys, let's flip over to the Kansas City Chiefs side, because what we're hearing out of Kansas City is the pass rush is a problem right now. Spags unit is not recorded a sack in the past 11 quarters. 11. Almost 3 full NFL games with 0 sacks. That's tough. Chris Jones, their best pass rusher, their dude, the man, the myth, the legend, come out and said he knows he's got to lead. He said, and I quote, "We got a lot of talent. Guys in the locker room that can rush the passer. We've got to win more as a unit. We have got to make the executions, make excuses about our blitzes." All of our one-on-ones, close, but no cigar. We need to get a cigar at this point, says Chris Jones. And I love that quote. I love what Chris Jones says. We need to get a cigar at this point. Guys, Chiefs fans, let's just be honest with ourselves. Chiefs Kingdom, let's be honest. Are you worried about this pass rush isn't going to get home to CJ Stroud? Because if there's one quarterback you do not want to let sit back comfortably in the pocket, it's him. This is a tension in this game. Cold weather should help the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Let's just be honest about it. Arrowhead crowd will help the pass rush. But if they still can't get a sack on a second-year quarterback behind that line has been up and down all season long, it's a red flag. It's a big red flag heading into potentially the playoffs, and definitely not the rest of the season. So, Man Hour Nation, in the comments down below, who has the bigger edge in this game? Is it the Texans' offensive line or the Chiefs' defensive line? Type Texans O-line in the chat or Chiefs D-line for your vote. Let's get it in. Jim says the only thing I can appreciate about either team is Pacheco. Listen, Isaiah Pacheco is the dog. Isaiah Pacheco is the man, the myth, the legend. Isaiah Pacheco, ooh, man, that man runs so angry. However, he's been kind of, ever since he broke his leg last season, he's been kind of MIA too. He's been kind of missing in action. He has not definitely developed into the player this season that we've seen the previous 2-3 seasons. Is it wear and tear? Is it tired? Or is he consistently looking over his back at Kareem Hunt right there? Like, man, Hunt is eating. Of course, they did draft another running back this offseason as well. So we could all be all that. But also, guys, history is all about this game as well. Because Patrick Mahomes versus the Texans is a real thing. The man, the myth, the legend, Patrick freaking Mahomes. Stats to know about Patrick Mahomes, guys. Patrick Mahomes is 5-1 in his career against the Houston Texans, including the playoffs. His loss, the one loss came for first game versus the Houston Texans back in Week 6 in 2019. He has beaten them every time since. So you got Mahomes basically owning the Houston Texans historically. A home game in the cold in Arrowhead. Stacks up. Man, guys, history repeats itself. And the Texas defense that don't want to deal with him, meaning Patrick Mahomes, or the crowd, or these conditions. If you are a Texans fan, that should at least make you a little uneasy. If you are a Houston Texans fan, you're like, damn, this road again? Guys, Mahomes in these kind of spots usually goes into, I'm not losing this game type of mode. He puts on that Superman cape. And when Patrick Mahomes puts on that Superman cape, does not rely on anybody else but himself, he does not lose. Now, Man Hour Nation, in the comments down below, we have a little over-under packing up. 2.5 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes in this one. So in the comments, put over or put under. 2.5 touchdowns for the man, the myth, the legend himself, the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to go over. I think Patrick Mahomes and the boys light it up. Zach Rose 5129, what's up, man? Said the Texans are beating up the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Damn, brother. Damn. Listen, I know the Texans got the #1 defense. Talk about it in a little bit. I know the Texans got a very, very hungry team. We're going to talk about that in like a little bit. And I know CJ Stroud is coming out after damn near a month off. The man's ready to ball. Y'all need to slow it down. And Zach says, we got the #1 defense. We ain't scared. We ain't never scared. Going to be a really good game. But he's picking the Texans 27-19. I'll come back to the prediction here in a couple seconds there, Zach. But definitely thank you for that prediction. Jim says, Mahomes' favorite karaoke songs, It Ain't Easy Being Green. I don't know that song. I guess I'm going to have to go to Spotify and check it out because I don't know what that song is. KTF. Oh, I see. It's Kermit the Frog. I see what you did there, Jimmy. You made a little pun. It ain't easy being green. Kermit the Frog. Yeah. You guys. Sheesh. But let's talk about the yak battle, not this. The yak battle. Because the battle of yak battle, and this is going to be my bold prediction for this game, guys. Because now this is a really interesting angle that isn't getting talked about nearly enough, is the yard after catch for the Houston Texans. And the Kansas City Chiefs, lack thereof, yard after catch, right? Now, my bold prediction from the Bucs side of things is that the Texans will be held under 50 yards after the catch in this game. That would be their lowest mark of the entire season. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to lock it down. And let me explain why this matters. Because only for 40% of the Houston passing yards come after yak. That's the fourth lowest rate in the entire league. So they already don't have a lot of screen and quick throws turning into big plays as is. The Chiefs defense has allowed minus 33 yards after catch over expectations per the NFL Next Gen stats. That is the fewest in the league. So in plain English, basically saying the Kansas City Chiefs, they tackle immediately and they give you no freebies. So this is what you take from out of that. A Texans offense that doesn't get a lot of tons, that gets nearly hardly yak yards to begin with. A Chiefs defense that is elite at killing yak yards. And you don't put in a sub-degree, 30-degree weather, guys, when you don't want to get hit, you don't want to fight for those extra yards. So my bold prediction for this game is simply put, the Houston Texans will be held to no big plays. The Houston Texans will be held to under 50 yards yak. It sounds very realistic. Texans finished the game with under 50 yards after the catch. Mark it down. CJ Stroud has to win almost entirely with tight window throws and plays that right into Steve Spagnuolo's hands. So chat, Man Hour Nation, drop this down in the comments down below. Will the first play for the Houston Texans on offense, will it be a turnover? Will the Kansas City Chiefs get a defensive touchdown? Does somebody go in for 150 yards receiving? I'm going to say no. But that's just me. But that is just me. But the point of the matter is, guys, let me scroll down one more time here. It says, now, this is just not some random week of just some absolutely whatever game. There's a lot on the line here, right? Listen, according to ESPN Analytics, with the win, the Chiefs have about a 55.2% chance of making the playoffs. With a loss, that drops to a 12.1%. So basically, you win, you still got a chance. You lose, whoo, baby, you need help. A lot of help. That is a massive swing for the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't usually see those numbers jump up like that this late in the season, but for the Kansas City Chiefs, it is a real deal. It's win, you got a chance. You lose, you're on the couch with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now for Houston, with the win over the Kansas City Chiefs, their playoff chances jump up to 77.9%. Nearly a shoo-in. But with the loss, that falls down to 37.6%. So both of these teams are in that swing game territory. Both of these teams need a win. Both of these teams need win and help to make it into the playoffs. This is a change your season type of game. And this isn't just the Texans versus the Chiefs, right? This is, do the Chiefs steady the ship and push forward to the postseason? Can they make the fourth straight Super Bowl? This is, do the Texans prove they're just not a dome team and they can go into a cold Arrowhead Stadium and punch a contender in the mouth? Guys, who needs this win more? Put it down in the comments. Do the Texans need to win this game more, or do the Chiefs win this game more? Because me personally, obviously, the numbers say the Kansas City Chiefs need to win this game more. However, on the flip side of it, the Texans need to prove that they can hang with the elites of the AFC. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs record does not show that they're elite right now, but the cream of the crop is the Kansas City Chiefs. The gold standard in the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Texans can go into Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday Night Football below 20 degrees outside and beat the defending AFC champions, that is a big momentum. Zach says the Texans need to win this game more. And I agree with you, Zach, because truth be told, I sat here on the Man Hour on Wednesday with cold hard facts saying that the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl runs are done. They're not going the fourth straight Super Bowl. And with the team that I do not think is going to go to the Super Bowl, why even make the playoffs? Right? Like the Denver Broncos last year, why even make the playoffs? Now, the Broncos, in their case, I've been proven wrong. They got a little swag about them. They got that little bit about them, right? The Kansas City Chiefs already have that. They've been there, done that, got the T-shirt 3 or 4 or 5 times now, right? Texans, however, if they get hot, They have a real legitimate shot. Jim Powell says, or Chris Jones will eat his figure shows. What are you talking about? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Zach says, can't wait. It's going to be a nail biter. Listen, Thursday is going to be a very, very great game. Sunday is going to be one of arguably the best games of the football weekend. Texans is their first real cold weather game. DeMeco Ryans is 0-2 at Arrowhead Stadium. The mindset versus reality in 20-something degree weather. That's a real thing to talk about. The Chiefs pass rush hasn't had a sack in 11 quarters. Chris Jones has arguably been calling out his defensive unit all week long, saying, hey, we got to go get that cigar. But Patrick Mahomes is 5-1 versus the Houston Texans and been owning them since 2019. Guys, I got some bold predictions. I think the Texans will be held to 50 yards under 50 yards yards after catch. The Chiefs will put on a tackling tenet, and the playoff odds swing like crazy depending on who comes out with the W. So, guys, in the comments down below, Man Hour Nation, Pigskin Pundits, I want to hear your final score predictions in the chat right now. In the chat right now, I want to hear your final score predictions. I am picking my Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium, 27-24. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. I think it's going to come down to Patrick Mahomes leading a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. And if you're watching the replay of this live stream, hit in the comments with your pick and your bold prediction. I read all those comments, guys, and I would like to interact with you. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday, normally at 7 p.m. East Coast time. This is a live interactive show, guys, so let's be like Zach Rose, my bad, and give us a score here. 27-19 Texans, he is saying. 27-19 Houston Texans. I would not be upset with that score, Zach. If the Kansas City Chiefs have to lose to anybody, why not the Houston Texans, right? I mean, like, why not? As long as it's not the freaking Broncos, as long as it's not the Raiders or the Chargers or the Colts, for that matter, my hometown team here, right? I mean, why not the Texans, right? The nice little drawing story. CJ Stroud's going to have a breakout game, he says. But what is classified as a breakout game for CJ Stroud? Like this is, I am being serious about. Because I think CJ Stroud had his breakout moment his whole rookie season. Now, last year was kind of like, when he's going to have that it game. But honestly, I think he had a breakout game last week versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, arguably one of the best teams in the AFC. Granted, I called them fool's gold all season long, and I still think they are. They may not win another game for the rest of the season and probably going to miss the playoffs. But I think last week he proved himself, right? And CJ Stroud has already kind of been mentioned up as a top 15, potentially top 10 quarterback. So, I mean, a breakout game for a top 10 quarterback would be 400 yards passing, 4 or 5 touchdowns, right? No interceptions. Go out there defeating the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be a breakout game. But we'll see. Can't lose to the Browns either. Yeah. Where you at, Shay? Shay. Can't lose to the Browns, bud. Can't move to the Browns. Breakout game of the season. Sorry, I should have said that. Like I said, I think he had a breakout game last year. Or not last year, last week. But hey. It is what it is. But guys, thank you guys for tuning us today here on this Improv 2 live show. Normally we're live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. East Coast time, right here at manhourradio.com. Guys, until then, see you Monday. We out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in. Man, now we're NFL talk. I know that you're ready for more. They on the field, ready for war. Who's in the lead? I'm checking the score. We about to do it like never before. NFL